I'm Chad with Anarchy Offroad Utah, and today we're going to take some time and show you one of our local trails, Docks Beach. Docks Beach is a trail rated 7 out of 10. It is definitely more for the seasoned rock crawlers and bigger tires. The trail in our area is great because this trail includes a lot of bypasses. So I would say if you were to take all the bypasses within this trail, the trail realistically is probably more of a 5 to 6 difficulty range. But anyway, follow along. This is basically going to have the majority of the bigger obstacles. It's not going to have everything down to the nitty gritty, but it'll give you a really good idea of what we have here to offer. So back behind me, this is the first obstacle on the Docks Beach Trail. This is what we call the gatekeeper. Right here is about a 4-foot ledge popping up into about a 14% grade. And it's a little rocky, but not bad. But this will give you a good idea of what's to come next on this trail. The one thing about Docks Beach Trail in this entire area that's amazing is everything here is bypassable. So you can bring your family, stalker machines, and be completely okay. Is another iconic spot in the Docks Beach area, and it's called Cannonball Canyon. And this is a super cool little section where we just drop down these ledges and drop into the sand basin to move on to the next section. This is the beginning of the rock slab headed up to No Mercy. It's nothing super difficult, but it is very steep and super fun. This is where the trail starts getting super interesting and definitely technical. And it'll definitely put some butterflies in the lower section. Come up the slick rock, we're going to have this 2 small shelf section to drop down before we turn and head up to No Mercy. So right before we get to No Mercy, we have this pretty good sized ledge to get up. With the longer cars, it's a little easier. With the shorter cars, things can get a little whiskey throttle, but as long as you keep it under control, We generally have the trail marked out so you'll know where to put your tires, but this is definitely one that'll catch you off guard. So this is no mercy. This is a super fun section that we added a few years ago to the trail. It really makes a whole different ballpark of this section. It's super steep. It's very grippy. It's not quite as grippy as Moab sandstone, but it's definitely grippy enough that you don't need to have a sticky tire to be able to enjoy this obstacle. So this is the top of No Mercy. Once you get to the top, it is a little off camber up here, but it's not bad. You can drop down this section. You've got about a little foot ledge here, and then you've got a hard right-hand turn along this cliff's edge, because if you don't make this corner, it's a long ways down. Behind us is the Big Kahuna. Now this is a drop. Again, this is also bypassable. And this is not for the faint of heart. Back behind me is a steep ledge to about a 3-foot drop off that is super off camber, and it'll give you a rush like crazy, but unfortunately sometimes things do happen. But this is a very well-known obstacle here, and every year it just keeps getting worse and worse, but it is super fun to watch everyone come down. I don't believe I've ever named this drop-off section, but it's super off camber up top, and you've got about a 1.5 foot, 14 to 18 inch ledge here before it's you know, very steep and almost vertical before it drops off onto this flat slab. But super fun section, really enjoy it. It's super sticky rock, you hook to it very well, and it's a good time. This next section we're going to drop into, it's just a long slab of rock. It's nothing too steep, but there is a good 36 to 40 inch almost vertical drop dropping into this wash. We have a super iconic spot here in Doc's Beach Trail, the waterfall. This is a super unforgiving obstacle. As you come up this side, if you slide over it all, I am 5 feet 7 inches tall, and it is my height. So this could be a very unforgiving place. And if you do flop here, it lands straight on to hard sandstone. This section right here gives you a few different options. If you don't want to do the waterfall, there's a super fun section off to my left here that's moderate to hard, and then behind the camera is basically just a sand trail to bypass the entire section. Caves. These twin caves offer some nice shade during lunch on the Doc's Beach Trail. These twin caves have a super fun obstacle here towards the bottom of the caves, and they also have petroglyphs right in the middle of them that are fenced in. You can't miss them. Super cool to check them out. Section here and the next obstacle, unfortunately, doesn't necessarily have a very good bypass. It does have a bypass. It still is pretty tough, but this is the main part of the trail, and it's a couple of feet, probably 26 to 28 inches vertical wall behind me, but it's super fun, and we'll move on to the next section. This obstacle is one of those that high climb clearance and big tires is great for. We have a rock right in the middle where you've got to kind of hug the wall and ride the edge. There's a rock cropping in the center that sticks up about 14 inches. The ones that can't make the clearance, there is a bypass along this side here, which is a lot easier, but once you get up higher, there is a pretty crazy off-camber section that'll keep you glued to the seat. Welcome to Riptide. This obstacle has an insane off-camber lower section and then a steep, cliffy climb to the top of the peak of this section of the trail. This is a super fun little off-camber climb with some ledges in it. Super fun. And then the bypass just stays down here in the wash and around the big bubble side of the rock. Our next stop has brought us to Jeep Top. This obstacle is called Jeep Top. Well, enough Jeeps have dumped over backwards over here over the years that there used to be a Jeep Top set down here for a long time. Anyway, not a super difficult obstacle, but definitely not a fun one for short wheelbase vehicles. We're here at Devil Staircase, where it drops into Brush Creek Canyon and also overlooks, remember, the main park. It's a super beautiful descent. It's a little off camber, a little rocky, and it just leads down into Deer Crack. Awesome obstacle where basically you just take your passenger side and your driver's side and you get to drive over basically the opening to a cave. super fun obstacle. It's nothing extremely difficult, but it does have a good, depending where you hit this ledge, anywhere between a couple feet and 3 feet ledge to climb up to the top side. This is Cannonball Canyon. This is where you drop in. And this drop is not for the faint of heart. It does have a bypass off to my right. It is probably a 3-foot section, a 2-foot section, and then over here, if you can't tell, it is pretty much a complete section from the top to the bottom. To my right, this is the squeeze, and to my left, this is Sideways Sally. Sideways Sally is no joke. Sideways Sally is an incredible off-camber next to a complete drop-off back into the wash. This type of obstacle, you basically want to take your driver front tire right along the bottom of that last ledge, and you don't touch the brakes. You just drive right on through and turn down. Anyone that hits the brakes will wind up upside down right here. The squeeze, well, pretty self-explanatory. It's the squeeze. It's a very tight, bouldery canyon to come down through. Depends on how wide your car is, or how short your car is, or how long your car is, on if you're going to have an issue with this obstacle. This section below the squeeze, well, it's a lot like the squeeze. But right here on my left-hand side, there's a few rocks that stick way out, and there's an undercut. And in full-body rigs, you've got to be extremely careful you don't get too close to this driver's side wall. The line you think you need isn't the line. It's got to be more passenger. You come through, and basically your tire's just going to roll right underneath this ledge of rock behind you. This giant wall behind me is the exit of Cannonball Canyon and the last obstacle of Doc's Beach Trail. And this thing has claimed numerous machines, so you really got to be careful. It's very bubbly, it's very off camber, and it's got a few cliffs the further you get up. And then once you reach the top of this section, you turn left, and there's a whole other rock wall just like this one. That's the last bit on the way out to the top of the trail.